Hello everyone and welcome back to Real Life Struggles. This is the channel that tries to help people with the things they're struggling with. You guys seem to really like the last video I did about Matt Powell, so we're going to look at another one. These are what he feels are the top 5 reasons why the Earth is not old, it's actually young.
I wanted to do a video about the top 5 proofs of a young universe.
I will say I only watched enough of this video to know it was one I wanted to react to. But my guess is he's just going to repeat the same things that his mentor Kent Hovind has been saying for the last 20 years. The same science, what they call science, and reasons that have been debunked by people who actually know a little bit about science.
Demonstrate that the universe is not 13.7 billion years old like people have said, but that it's actually young and was created recently.
Sorry, Matt. While the universe was created by God, it was not created 6,000 years ago. It was created 13.8 billion years ago, and he left us a lot of signs that a lot of very smart people have noticed to show that this is true.
And the first reason that we know this is because of short-period comets.
Ooh, I was right. He's basically going to repeat everything Kent Hovind has said for the last 20 years. He might have even taken his PowerPoint slides. We'll see.
Now, if you're not sure what those are, they are balls of ice that are floating about in space right now, and they deteriorate in less than 10,000 years.
Well then, I guess it's a good thing that they're coming from somewhere else, and we have more of them. And even if I say right now where that is, you're just going to deny that it actually exists. But I'll say it anyway. It comes from the Kuiper Belt in the Oort cloud.
And so short-period comets are all over our galaxy, all over the solar system, and they're going about in an orbit and they are deteriorating over time.
You know what else deteriorates over time? Car tires. Does that mean cars don't exist because the tires can't last longer than 4 years? No, it means we get tires from somewhere else. Just like we get comets from somewhere else.
And if our solar system was 4.5 billion years old, those things would not even exist. They would have completely deteriorated by now.
Or, and stick with me here because this is really, really complicated, Matt. It's possible that there's a lot of them far enough away from the sun where it's really cold and they don't melt and they just kind of chill there until something causes it to go towards the sun where they eventually burn up.
The second proof is simply the planet Pluto.
It's kind of hard to call it your second proof when your first proof didn't actually prove anything. So how about my second attempt at my first proof?
Pluto is warm on the inside. Now, if Pluto was from 4.5 billion years ago, when it finally was created back then, it would be freezing cold on the inside.
Pluto having a warm interior doesn't mean that it was created last Thursday. What it means is something is keeping the interior warm. What scientists currently believe that something is that there's radioactive decay on the inside of the planet. Radioactive decay can produce a lot of heat.
There's no way that something could just stay that warm for that long, for the course of 4.5 billion years.
Yeah, it's not staying warm, it's being kept warm by itself. And just because you don't understand how something could happen, it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
If you came to my house and saw a hot cup of coffee on the table, you would never assume that that cup of coffee was 4.5 billion years old.
Of course I wouldn't, because number one, coffee doesn't have a way to create its own heat. And number two, it's a really dumb argument. I know people like you don't believe in science, but we do have ways of observing things and determining how old they are.
I'm sorry, it would have cooled off over the course of just 10 minutes.
Okay, Matt, now take your cup of coffee and put it on one of the little coffee warmers, the things you can plug into the wall or a USB port, and it keeps things inside of a cup warm. I bet that cup of coffee would stay warmer longer than 10 minutes. It would probably stay warm until the water in the coffee eventually evaporated.
But people have no problem believing that things happen to stay warm for 4.5 billion years.
Actually, Matt, what it takes is scientific knowledge and a general understanding of how things work. Radioactivity creates heat. So, if there's something that's keeping the planet warm from the inside, then the insides are not going to cool off.
The third reason is the planet Saturn.
Ooh, let me guess. You're going to say something about the Saturn's rings, and that if they were billions of years old, they would have all flown apart and disintegrated by now.
I mean, Saturn's rings are unstable.
Ooh, I called it. Let's see what else he has to say.
Saturn's rings are actually dispersing right now as we speak, and before long, those rings will be completely gone.
Well, people that are deeply entrenched in young Earth creation tend to just make stuff up. So let's stop him there and see if it's actually true. While he did make a true statement, he kind of left out the fact scientists believe they're going to last at least another 100 million years. So nobody living today has to worry about the rings disappearing.
If Saturn, the planet, and the rings around it were 4.5 billion years old, those rings would have completely dispersed and deteriorated by now.
Or it means that it's an incredibly long process that's happening, and we have nothing to worry about because it'll still be here while we're still alive.
But they're still there, which means that they were created recently, not billions of years ago.
Well, Matt, saying something's untrue doesn't make it true just because you think it's true.
The fourth reason is simply stars.
The first three weren't reasons, so I'm not sure how this is the fourth. And I don't know what he's going to say about stars, but actually the distant starlight problem is the entire reason why I started on my journey of leaving the young Earth creation faith and becoming an old Earth creationist. The very thing that Answers in Genesis has admitted on one of their videos during their talks, that nobody in young Earth creation can explain why we can see stars after 6,000 years when they are billions and billions of light years away.
A star will die 1 per 25 years per galaxy.
I actually can't confirm or deny this. I did a little bit of research to see if he was correct, and some websites are saying that it's one star every 10,000 years, and some are saying that it's a couple stars a year. But either way, I'm sure he's going to completely misunderstand what that means.
If the galaxy was less than 10,000 years old, we would predict to only find about 200 dead stars in our galaxy. And sure enough, that's what we find. We find less than 200 dead stars in the galaxy.
I'm going to say citation needed on that one, Matt. There's approximately 100 million black holes within the Milky Way galaxy. Those are made out of dead stars. Also, it's not like when stars die, they just sit there doing nothing, waiting for us to find them. They can be black holes, like I said before. They can go supernova. Also, maybe you've noticed that space is really, really big.
If you look at other galaxies, you'll only find about 200 dead stars in each galaxy, which means...
Well, you've either gone to yecconspiracytheories.net and not done any actual research for yourself, which, if you're trying to use science in your video, that's kind of a shame. Or you're lying, and you know you're lying, which makes you not a very good person and not a very good representation of a Christian.
That if evolution were true, and if the evolutionary timescale of billions of years...
Repeat after me, Matt. Evolution is not cosmology. Cosmology is not evolution. They're two separate theories that were created around 100 years apart. Believing in the Big Bang and that the universe is old doesn't require you to believe that humans evolved from lower life forms.
was taking place, you would have hundreds of thousands of dead stars throughout the entire universe.
Like I said, we have 100 million black holes. Those are dead stars. So we do have more than 100,000 dead stars.
The fact that you find only 200 dead stars per galaxy literally proves beyond any shadow of doubt that the galaxies, and our galaxy in particular, the Milky Way, is a young galaxy.
So the scientific untruth that either you or somebody else made up proves that the Earth is young. I think what it proves is that you don't understand science and you shouldn't be telling people these lies.
Now, the fifth and most powerful reason is actually the magnetic field of the Earth and other planets.
Well, your first four haven't panned out and you still haven't actually proven anything. And I'm going to predict that your fifth thing about the magnetic field is just going to show that you have no idea how the magnetic field works or was formed.
See, magnetic fields are actually what keep our planets, and keep the Earth in particular, from being bombarded with space dust.
Matt, please go apologize to your science teacher. The Earth's magnetic field protects us from solar wind and radiation.
If the magnetic field was too strong, we would die. If it's too weak, we would die. It has to be just right in order to protect us from issues from outer space or sunlight, deadly radiation coming through.
Well, no objections there. Let's see what else he has to say.
And so, the Earth's magnetic field in particular is very important, and it is vital to our survival.
Well, he seems to be showing a general understanding of how the magnetic field works. I have a feeling he's about to show he doesn't actually know how it works.
The half-life of the Earth's magnetic field is actually 1,400 years.
Well, that didn't take long, did it? Sorry, Matt. The Earth's magnetic field is not a magnet like you have on your fridge. It's generated by the Earth. More specifically, it's generated by the Earth's inner core.
And so what that means is that every 1,400 years, the Earth's magnetic field gets chopped in half.
Yeah, no it doesn't, because the Earth's core doesn't have a half-life, so it's not being chopped in half every 1,400 years.
And so you can only lose so much before you've lost it all. And if the magnetic field gets too weak, like I said, the sun's rays will penetrate the Earth's atmosphere and kill everything on the Earth.
While the Earth's magnetic field does actually vary in strength throughout the years, measured over a very long period of time, it doesn't have a predictable half-life decay the same way that radioactive materials would have a decay. It has been shown to weaken in the past as it was about to reverse. Is this what's happening right now? Maybe, but it's probably not going to happen tomorrow.
With the half-life being only 1,400 years, you take that back, even 10,000 years. If you were to go beyond 10,000 years, the Earth's magnetic field would be so powerful that it would literally kill everything on Earth as well.
Well, I guess it's a good thing that it wasn't that strong, and that there isn't a half-life decay like you think. On a side note, young Earth creationists like you also believe that all of radiometric decay occurred within the space of 6,000 years, which would also wipe out all life on Earth.
So, no matter how the evolutionists or atheists want to play this game of millions and billions of years.
Hey Matt, I know this might surprise you, but more than atheists believe that the Earth and universe are billions of years old. Many Christians like myself believe it, and so do people of other religions.
It's not going to go their way, because truly the facts are on our side. Observation is on our side. Everything that we see in the solar system actually demonstrates that the Earth and the universe and the galaxies, the entire world is young.
If every single piece of observable evidence showed that the Earth was young, then millions and billions of scientists and other people would believe that the Earth was young. They don't, because all of the science and evidence shows that everything is very, very old.
And was created recently and not billions of years ago.
Created? Yes. Recently? No. The only thing you've shown so far is that you do not understand science at all. Well, everyone, those are the 5 reasons he had. I showed you why they don't actually match up with what science says. I think some of them are even easy enough that you can just see it yourself. The biggest reason I want to make these videos is to show people that science and the Bible can and do go together. And you don't have to reject God and Christianity just because you think the Bible says that science is wrong. God is right, and science is right, and the Bible's right. That being said, if you haven't liked or subscribed yet, I would really appreciate it. I do want to grow this channel and try to reach more people, and liking and subscribing can help.